Hello, Bobcats, and other OCPS teachers out there. Brad Sharpley here with another tutorial for you guys today. And after many requests and lots of asks, I am finally working on some Microsoft Teams videos. So, given the announcement and that our district will be going to Teams exclusively, I figured it was time to start to play. So one of the things I just want to show you is one easy way to create a meeting link for all your students and to be able to manage it in Canvas. So first step is to go into Canvas, log into your Canvas course, and then go to your calendar. You don't have to go into a specific course yet. You can just click on calendar on the far left side. From here, pick the date that you want to meet with your students. Let's say I wanted to meet with mine tomorrow. And just click in that middle box. So one more time, you just click on somewhere in that date box of that date. Give your meeting a title. We're going to call this Testing Microsoft Teams, like I did when I tested this out. Date's already there. You can give it a time if you want. It'll work outside of that time, so this doesn't really matter a lot, but you can add it if you'd like. The most important things on this screen are fixing this. You want to make sure it's to the right course. So for mine, I want to put it with my student tech support group so that they have access to it. And I make sure I click on that. And then you're going to click on more options. Once you're in this screen and it's fully loaded, you're going to have a button at the top to incorporate Microsoft Teams. So it's actually pre-built in right there, Microsoft Teams. Once you click on this, if you haven't done this before, your first time you click on it, it's going to ask you to sign in. So it'll give you this screen right here. You'll go ahead and click sign in. Your computer should already have you logged into your OCPS account, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that sign in screen. But if it does, you just confirm you're on your OCPS account. Then any other time from then on, you'll see this screen once you hit the Microsoft Teams button. And all you have to do is click Create Meeting Link. It adds the link directly into the event. And you can add any other additional information you want. Meeting for, this was for tomorrow, 2/25. And then all you do is hit Create Event. Now your students, when they need to log into the event, they just go into their calendar and they'll see that in their calendar for that class. If they don't see it for some reason, they need to add your class back on your calendar. So these little options on the right, they turn on and off. You can turn those things on and off so they're off your calendar. So for example, you see a lot of these are from the 6th grade PLC I'm part of. Boop, that takes all those off. So if I didn't see those events, I know I just need to turn that back on. So your students will click on the event for your actual meeting and then hit Join Microsoft Teams Meeting. You can also copy this link and put it on the front page of your Canvas course, send it in an announcement, send it in an email, whatever, and add it that way. You're going to actually do the same thing. You're going to click on that event and you're going to click Join Microsoft Teams Meeting. Give it a second. And the Microsoft Teams window will pull up. So here you can turn on your camera if you want. You can make sure that your students can see you. Hey everybody. You can also make sure your computer audio is turned on, so that's being shared out. One of those features that's not available in VBB. And then you can also make sure you can change which microphone's being used. So here you'll see it's using the speakers and it's using the microphone. If I want to change that, I can click on it. And now I'm going to go ahead and click Join Now. So now I'm in the event. So a couple quick buttons to look at. I can click on this button here to show participants. This is where students will show up when they are trying to join the meeting. So you can click here to show the chat, and this will show the chat for the meeting. You'll be able to see if students are typing in there. You can also do reactions if you want. Students will do these from time to time. These are breakout rooms, which I'll show you in a little bit. But for now, we'll look at the last thing that's important is meeting options. For the most part, the default options are fine. You don't want students to bypass the lobby. You want to be able to add them in yourself, so we'll leave that to only me. If you wanted, you can make it where OCPS could log in, no problem. I haven't tested that, so it may let anyone who's just using a guest account log in too. You can also decide whether or not you want to announce callers. You're probably not going to have a lot of callers, so that's not a big deal. That would be if they actually called on a cell phone to the meeting. Who can present? You're probably going to leave it to only me. And whether or not you want to allow attendees to unmute. allow a meeting chat. You might decide you don't want students to be able to turn on their mics and that you don't want them to chat. Those two sections would be there. And you might also turn off reactions. So you can make changes to any of those and then hit save. For your students, they are going to go into the calendar on their Canvas course and they will see an event that you created, whatever you happen to call it, and then they can click the link to join in. If they're at home, they may not have the Teams program installed, the Windows application installed, so they can do through the web. If they do have the application installed, then they can log in through that. Your on-campus students should definitely have it installed. Some of your off-campus students should as well, but they may not all, so some might still be using the web app to access it. We joining, guys? So make sure student body is on the right side on your calendar. There's a list of classes. You got to turn it on. All right, so once a student joins from the lobby, you'll see their name show up right here, and you can either approve or not approve them. Once I go ahead and hit the little check mark, they'll get approved and added into the class. You'll see the section changed here. You'll see the view changed here, so now we know the student is here in the class. And then again, as any more join in, we will see them here. If you had two teachers, for example, let's say you were doing tutoring and you wanted to be able to have two different teachers, there's no way to make the other person an organizer as well. So if you wanted them to have the ability to approve people or to move people around to different groups, then you would go ahead and click make them a presenter. Now that they're a presenter, they'll be able to share content, mute others, and more. Now that they're a presenter, they can actually approve another student. So if they'll see the same option of who's waiting in the waiting room, and then they can go ahead and approve them for you. So you might do that again if you're doing a tutoring session where you have multiple people teaching. You might do that. You might decide to designate one student as the person handling your waiting room. That would be an option. You'll see there my student went ahead and approved the other one. And so now they're both in. Those are the basics of Microsoft Teams. I'll do a separate video on breakout rooms in a little bit, but those are the basics of creating a conference through your calendar, how to use Microsoft Teams for the basics of running a conference, and some chat and stuff like that. As always, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me, bradley.streffler@ocps.net. I'll be glad to help you guys out there. And I know you're going to do awesome things for and with your students this year.